Okay, today we are going to discuss. Perfect. Today we are going to discuss about maps in Oracle Apex, as Salim has told. My name is Mudassar Amin, and I'm working as senior software engineer in Muscat, Oman. So let's get started. Today's session objectives are: we will explain different layers in maps, how much types of layers are there in maps in, Oracle Apex maps as well as in Google Maps. And we'll discuss about key features in Oracle Apex. How can we interact with maps? How can we execute our different types of dynamic actions? How can we navigate in between maps as well as from maps to other application pages, and some other features as well. And we will see how faceted search can be integrated with Oracle Apex maps. And if we want to draw different types of shapes in Oracle Apex maps, I will explain as well. And if we select a specific location on the map and we want to show the nearest neighbors, we will see how can we do that. And the last thing, I will tell you how to integrate Google Maps with Oracle Apex. Key features or main features in Oracle Apex maps are: they are free of cost. You don't need any type of API key. You don't need any type of configuration. And just create the region, set its type, provide the source from your database, and you are good to use. And different types of dynamic actions are available. As I told earlier, we can execute different types of JavaScripts. We can execute PLSQL codes. We can navigate from one map to other, from one map to other pages, etc. So a lot of features are available as well. And one more facility we have available in Oracle Apex maps, that is different types of database types. For example, if our geographical data is available in longitude and latitude format, or if it is available in GeoJSON format, or there is one more data type available, its name is SDO geometry. SDO geometry is basically a type already available in Oracle database. We can use it as our database column data type, and we can store our geographical data in this specific column. The next one is we can have 2D or 3D maps, and if we have shown maps in 3D format, we can make transition between 2D. We can convert those maps to 2D format as well. And the next one is if we want to show the distance between two specific locations or two or more different points on the map, we will just click on the map. We will select the points. We will select the locations, and automatically our maps will show us the distance between those points. And all these things which I'm discussing, we don't need any type of specific efforts. Everything is available in declarative form. We just need to check or uncheck the options as our attributes of the map, and all the features will be available with us. Then we can have multiple layers like lines, polygons, or points, etc. in one map. And the formatting, the color schemes, or to show the points or locations on the map in different in form of different shapes, it's very easy. We can even use SVG shapes. We call it scalar vector graphic shape. They are also available built in the Oracle Apex latest release. If you want to get the browser location, for example, we want to get the location of the client browser, we will enable the option from our attributes, and it will be available. Okay, let's move forward. The different types of layer in Oracle Apex maps are point, line, polygon, circle, heated map, and extruded polygon. So I will go through all of these things in today's session. Okay. Here I have mentioned a few use cases in maps in Oracle Apex. The first one is clickable map. For example, if we want to click on a specific location in the map and we want to show some information related to that location, or if we want to perform any type of dynamic action after clicking on that location, we can do that. And the small pop-up window which I have shown on the location, it can be formatted easily. The next one is searching the data in our report, and by clicking the link available on the report, we want to display the location in the map. So we will create some report, and I will explain how can we pass the parameters from the report to the map. So the data search in the report is displayed inside the map. The next one is how to integrate faceted search with our map component. If we have very huge geographic data, for example, number of airports in a country or a number of airports in a specific region in the map, and we want to apply different types of filters on those on the data, we can have the feature or we can use the component faceted search, and based on the search criteria applied in the faceted search, we want to show our geographical data in the map. It's very easy. It's only within the clicks we can achieve this functionality. The next one is just draw a circle on the map, and all the locations under the circumference of that circle, we want to get those locations, and for example, we want to show those locations in our classic or interactive report. So what will we do? We will draw a circle. We will capture the event of drawing the circle and get the locations or all the geometries from the circumference of circle, and we will pass those things to our report as a parameter, and our report will show all the location inside the circumference of that circle. The next use case is about map and report. In our application, for example, our requirement is like all the locations which are available from our database on the current view of map. For example, if we want to zoom in or zoom out, of course the locations will be different on zoom in and zoom out, and we want to see how many locations are there or what are the locations available in that view of the map, and we can show those locations in our report. For this, we use a simple attribute. Its name is bounding box item attribute. We just need to mention the page item in this attribute, and Oracle Maps will automatically get all the geometries in the current view of the map, and it will set those geometries into this page item. And this page item we can use in the source of the report, which we are going to show. And nearest neighbor search, if our requirement is like sometimes we want to click on the map, or we want to specify that nearest to this specific location, how many data points are available from our database. So simply we click on the map, and our map will give us the facility to see all the locations or all the data points available from our database. We can pass some different types of parameters also. We can mention the radius specifically in which region of the map, or what will be the radius from that point where the location should be shown, and how many locations or how many data points we will show related to that specific point. For this, we use SDO underscore and then special SQL function. It is again already available in Oracle database, and it actually walks through the special index and returns nearest neighbors to the given position. We will just pass the position to this function, and it will give us all the neighbors available from our database table. The next one is heat map. Heat map, if we want to show the density of our data, for example, in which specific location, how many points or data points are available, and to show the density of our data, we can use the heat map, and after zooming in or out, the density will be increased or decreased accordingly. The next one is to draw the polygons based on the different data, and, or we can draw the polygons based on different regions. For example, in the example I have shown states, we are showing the United States and or the cities in form of the polygons. So again, it's very simple. We just need to create the map region, and we just need to provide a SQL query that is containing all the information related to these polygons. Similar to polygons, we can also show the extruded polygons. The difference is it will be available in 3D format, and it's again very simple. Just click on the map, just create the map region, provide the data source for that region, and select the type as extruded polygon. I would like to move to a quick demo for these things which we have seen earlier. Okay. First of all, let's get through this clickable map. Here I have an example. We have shown different types of data points. Some of them are larger airports, some of them are smaller airports. So first I would like to explain different features available on the map. Here on the right side, we have option to zoom in and zoom out. And if we want to change our view from north side to some other side, and if you want to reset, just click on this one once again. And then we have here rectangle zoom. Just select this option, draw a rectangle in the map, and it will zoom in for us specific to that region. Then we have mouse wheel zoom option. We can enable or disable it as well. Then the next one is to get the client location. Just click on this and it will get me to my current location. I'll get back to my other data points which are available in the map so that I can show some more features. Here is the option to draw a circle in the map. I have selected the option and just drag the mouse, it will draw the circle. And the next one is distance tool. Select it and draw or click on different region or different points in the map, and it will show us the distance between those points. And there is one more feature available. If we want to see the overview of the map, we can have that here as well. Okay, how to enable these all options in our maps? Let's go to the technical details. Here in my page, first of all, I have created a region. Its type is map. Okay, and the next thing is I just want to go to the attributes. I can set here the background of the map. There are different options available. We can use the default option as well as the custom options as well. And next option is for navigation bar. If we want to show the navigation bar, as zoom in, zoom out option, or if we want to provide the compass option as well, so we can enable or disable here. The next is navigation bar. Here in our map, we have shown two layers as I explained earlier. So we can show them here right down of the map, or we can show these things on top of map as well. Some more options available here: mouse wheel zoom, rectangle zoom, scale bar, overview map, infinite map. Infinite map means if we zoom it out completely, and if we move to the right or left side, and it will be available for us and infinitely. So if we want to disable this option, we can just uncheck this property. Then get the browser location, as I explained earlier, then circle tool, distance tool. So all the things are available. Just need to enable or disable them to get the facilities from these features. And we can set the initial position and zoom option here as well. What should be the first position when the map is open? On specific location, we can provide the longitude and latitude for those things. And next one is legend. It's legend similar to the showing the layers information here. we can move it on top or bottom, as I explained earlier. And if we want to give some specific title to those layers, we can also give that here. Here we have the unit system. If we want to show the distance on our map in kilometers, meters, or miles, we can choose that option here as well. And then this lazy loading option is available. I'm sure most of you guys are you are known to this option. If we have enabled this one, it will improve our the performance of our page. And if we want to do some custom styling on our shapes, the shapes which we have used to show these locations or data points, we can apply those formats here as well. Let's move one more step forward. The next thing is we have drawn a map, and now how to show these data points here. I'm enabling and disabling this small airports option. We call these things as layers in the map. As we have discussed in our presentation, these data points are shown on different layers. So one layer is showing the larger airports, the second one is showing smaller airports. So we just need to create two layers inside the map. Create the layer and set its type from point, polygon, heat map, or extruded polygon. So, sorry. And here we will provide the data source for these layers. We are reading from this table, and there is an important column here, that is geometry column. Geometry column will be containing the geographic data, or all the points on the map which we have shown. Those points are stored in this geometry column. In our examples, we are using the SGeometry type for this column. As I explained, it is containing geographic data for all the locations available on the map. The next thing is point objects. We can also get these points from our database columns. We just need to pass the column name here, or if we want to use some of the existing shapes here, we can also use from here. And the next thing is to show the point color. These points are simply related to the formatting of our points, how we want to display our points on the map. Then stroke color and stroke width, these things are available. Now, one more thing, point clustering. If we want to, if we have a lot of points, data points on our map, and we want to cluster them together, and we will just enable this option, and we will select a shape from here. Let's take a square and set its size as 1 or maybe 1.5. And if we want to give any tooltip on that specific cluster, it's fine. Otherwise, it will show the number of points inside that cluster automatically. And we can define the clustering radius here as well. Let's save and run this. If you see, our smaller airports are converted into different clusters. When I'm hovering on this specific cluster point, it is showing me 25 points. That means if I will zoom into this one, it will be divided into, or it will further show me the other 25 points as well. So this is the concept of clustering, and it is available in single click in Oracle Apex Maps. And the next thing is to show the tooltip on the data points. If I'm hovering on this point, it is showing me the name of the airport. So it's very simple. Just go to this property and give me the give the database column name here. It will show us it in the tooltip, or even we can write any type of static text here as well. On clicking on this point, it is showing me the information in a information window or small pop-up. That is also very simple. We just need to give the simple formatting and the database column through which we want to get the values and show on that information window. So these are the basic components which we have seen in the maps. These are the facilities available with us. We just need to use them or enable or disable them in our applications. And we are I mean, and these things are very simple to achieve as compared to other technologies. The next one is searching the data in our report and I mean displaying the specific location to our map. Here on left side, I have a report, and for example, if I click on this row, it will navigate the map to that specific location, and it will show the data on that in the same information window. So let's see how can we do this. We just need to create the report and get the ID from that click and pass the and get the geometries for those IDs. I mean the coordinates for that specific ID, and pass those things into our map query here. So it will automatically show us the specific location, and this we can do by the dynamic action. Here we have dynamic action for that. I will not go to the complete details, but I will explain a little about this one. Here we are getting our front map region. We are getting its layer, its zoom level, and the ID, which we have, in which we have stored the ID from the selected row, and we will get its feature. From the feature, we will get the position. Position means the coordinates on the map, and we will pass it to the function set center in the position. It will set these specific coordinates as a center in the map, and it will set some zoom level. So after that, we are displaying the information in a pop-up window. So that's all. It's very simple, very easy, and we can achieve these things in a few or simple steps. Next one is faceted search. On the left side, I have my faceted search component. If when I'm selecting some criteria, my map is getting displaying the data based on that criteria. Okay, and how to get this done? Let's have a look. Just create the faceted search component and one component for the map, and the next thing you need to do is create the criteria, but mention the data types. Mention the source of these criteria items as the columns from the query, which we have mentioned here in the maps region. That is important. And the next thing is we just need to mention the filtered region here as maps. The maps region we will mention here. After that, we don't need to do anything. Automatically, when we are selecting a location here, our map region is refreshed and showing us the locations available based on that criteria.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mudassir. I think there is a question related to the position of the marker. So John and another anonymous attendee were asking, like, can we create an app where we can show the cargo tracking, for example, or the driver moving on the map, something similar to what we see today's and if those maps application. So I believe the code that you've shown in search and show can be utilized to do that, JavaScript code there.
Yes.
Because that JavaScript will actually move the point to somewhere in the map. So you can utilize that, and you can use an item in the page and keep updating the item, refreshing it from a database or the GPS location, and then refreshing that marker so it will look like it's moving. So that could do it. There is another question, also quite important. Like, we love what we see. This is a great app. So can people get it? Yes, you can. This app is available today in our GitHub. I'm going to paste the GitHub link to all of you. So you can go there and find different sample applications. So in 21.1, we don't ship the sample application and sample productivity application with Apex. We just put them now in GitHub. That gives us the flexibility to work on those applications even after the release time of Apex. So you can go to that repository and find this particular application, especially the part with the non-Google thing that Mudassir is showing you, and you can download and you can see how it is built and look at the code and learn more about the map. The last thing, somebody's asking, is this presentation available for download, Mudassir? Are you going to share this presentation, the PowerPoint?
Yes, I will share after this session. No problem.
Perfect. And the session is recorded. So if you go to bit.ly/Apex in Pakistan, in a few days, I'll be publishing it so you can see the whole recording. All right, thank you.
Perfect.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No problem. Okay, next feature we were discussing about if we draw a map in the, draw a circle in the map and all the locations available in the circumference of that circle, we want to display those locations here on the right side in a report. Let me draw another circle here. If you have noticed, all the locations for the larger airports as well as smaller airports are available on the right side in the report. Now quickly, how we have to do this one. We, as I explained, simply just create the region, type map, and create different layers in that region. First of all, we need to get the event when the circle is drawn. Based on that, we will get all the geometry under that circle, and we will set those things in a page item here. In the next step, we will use this page item in the query in the where clause of our smaller airports, which are shown inside the circle. But here I would like to mention a small thing. We're using a function. Its name is SDO_AnyInteract. This function, it actually checks if any of the geometries in the table have the relationship with the specified geometry. So it will see if the locations which are inside the circumference of the circle, if those locations are available in our database, those locations will be shown here inside the report. Okay, and I'll go to the next point, that is showing all the locations available in current view of map in the report. Let's see how can we achieve this. Similar to the previous one, just create the region and create the layers. But the important thing here is, okay, the important thing here is we just need to get the, all the locations available in the current view as we have done in the circle. There we were specifying these things just inside the circle. But here we will get all the locations from the current view of the map, and we will pass to the report. If you see here, inside this, inside this query, we are using the same API, and we are passing the geometry, and we are getting we're passing the item which is containing the geometry of complete view of the map. And here we are using another function which I would like to explain. It actually converts the geometry from the map to the it actually converts GeoJSON formatted geometry object to the graphical geometry object. So this one we can get from the map, and we can store it in JSON format to our database. And based on those things, we can show the values in our report. Next one is nearest neighbor search. Here again, we have different options available. Based on the search criteria, we can display our information, and we can mention the maximum distance, let's say 100 kilometers, and we can set some, these things are related to the criteria. I will not go into those details, but here the main thing is whenever I'm clicking on a location or a specific location in the map, or if I'm selecting a location from this list of values here, it is showing me the neighbors related to that specific point, and how many number of neighbors it will show, which I have mentioned here in the criteria. For this, I already explained. We use a function named as sdo_nn. It gets all the neighbors which we have. The number of neighbors it will get from the map, and it will pass to our report. Same concept, map and different layers. Here we have one layer to get the click position. From the click position, we will get the coordinates of the the coordinates where we have clicked in the map, and we will call that function here to get the the nearest neighbors. If you see this one, sdu_sn, we are passing the geometry where we have clicked, and this function will automatically get the neighbors relevant to that specific point, and it will return to our as a data source to our report. So these things will be available here in the report. The next is heat map. It's these things are very simple. We just need to create the region, and we just need to select the type of the regions. We have created a map here. The region, its type is map, and we have created two layers. One is of type polygon, and the second one is heat map. Actually, if we want to show the density of our data points in a region, then we use these heat maps. So we have provided the data sources to the layers, and they are showing us the heated map here. But we can apply some criteria here as well. The next thing is drawing some polygons. Again, it's very simple. Just create a region type map, and create a layer. Its type should be polygon. Provide your data source, and that's all. Same is the concept with the extruded polygons. Here we are showing different types of data, but it's in form of it's a type of 3D form. And if you want to switch it to the 2D, we can use this built-in option here. Same concept is used. We just need to select the different type, provide the data source, and that's all. Okay. Next, I would like to move to Google Maps.
Do you mind? I would like to add something, Mudassir, before moving to Google Maps. I think you were smart starting with the native feature of Apex 21.1, because that's the map region that comes with 21.1.
Yes.
But having said that, there are a couple of things that maybe are not available today for the maps region in Apex 21.1. For example, we don't yet support geocoding. So if you have an address that you would like to take that address and then translate that address into longitude and latitude, and then get the position, we don't have it today. The other thing that's not available in the maps region currently is there is no routing. So somebody has asked, does it support something like Google Maps, where you can show the directions and stuff? Currently, we don't have it yet. So these are the couple of things that we don't have. Now, for the licensing part, so many might wonder, is it free to use? Well, it is. It is actually part of the spatial feature of the Oracle database, which is now available in all supported edition of Oracle. So whether it's standard edition 2 or the enterprise edition, or even in our cloud, you don't need any license to use the spatial. So you are free to use it. And as Mudassir said, there is no key even to configure. So there is no API key to use the maps region, which is, makes it much easier for you to work with maps. So yeah, I think I've answered your question, John. That's it. So now we can see maybe how we can use Google Maps with Apex. So we don't restrict you. If you want to use Google Maps or any other maps, you are free to use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Salim. Now we will discuss about the Google Maps, how to integrate them, and what are the different features available in Google Maps that we can use in our Oracle Apex application. If we have a criteria based on that we want to search some locations or some data points in our in Google Maps, simply we will provide the criteria, and clicking on next, clicking on the search button, we will get that specific location. Similar to the Oracle Apex Maps component, if we want to click on a specific location and we want to show the data inside our, we want to display the data in a report, it's again, we can do that in Google Maps as well. If we want to draw different types of shapes, polygon or circle or clusters, we can do these things as well. For the clusters, as I explained in my very first, I think the first layer or the first, the feature of Oracle Apex Maps, it is the same concept, but it's available in Google Maps as well. The next thing, as Salim told, we can show the directions in Google Maps as well. We can provide some specific location, maybe one or more locations we can provide to our maps and to the Google Maps, and it will show us the directions between those points. Here I have mentioned some steps to integrate Google Maps in Oracle Apex. First of all, you need to create a static content region, and you need to provide a static ID. The next thing is we need to write a JavaScript function, but that function will draw the map for us inside that region. We will just pass the static ID to this line of code, and it will draw the map inside that region. And the next thing is we want to draw different types of layers on Google Maps. It can be polygon, circle, or markers, or a cluster. So they are again simple, but we need to use JavaScript for these things. For example, if we want to get the map and we want to get the coordinates, then if we want to mention the center point and these things, these parameters we can pass to the respective functions related to these layers, and we can navigate or we can draw these shapes directly on the Google Maps. And to show the directions, we have another function available, direction services from Google Maps. We have to use this function, and inside that function we have to use the polyline function by passing the parameters, and it will draw the directions from one point to the other point. In the end, we need to call that function, the function which we created above in JavaScript, we need to call that function on page load, and we have to include the API key that we will get from the Google to use Google Maps in any of the applications. So we'll get through the demo. Google Maps search. Here I have created one item as a criteria. For example, if I write here Karachi, the map will navigate me to that specific location. Or if we want to use some coordinates, we can also provide the coordinates to this to the map region, and it will take me to that specific location in the map. Now, how to do this? To do this, as I told you earlier, first of all, we need to create the function. First of all, we need to create the region, static region, and give it a static ID. And after that, create a function to initialize the map in that region. Here, this function will do this job for us. And the next thing is we will get the address the address which we have mentioned in our field. From that address, we will get the we will get the geocode address from that specific value or the coordinates. Okay, and we'll pass that to geocode function, and it will automatically take us to that specific location. And the next thing, we need to draw a marker or a pinpoint. We can use this function to draw the marker on that specific location. If we want to use to show the information window, or if you want to do some other things based on that, so those things are also available here. The next thing is Google Maps clickable. Here, when I'm clicking on any specific point, I'm showing the data on the right side. Simply, we need to just add a listener on this point. I'm assuming, I am assuming that we have drawn a map and we have shown the points based on our data from our database. And we just need to, register a listener, for example, a click listener on this point. And based on that click, we will pass the parameters from this map region to the report on the right side. So, from this, let me get to the technical details. We have our region here having the static ID, and then we have a report here showing the data. But based on this one, based on the click in that map point, we can pass the parameters. First, we have initialized the map. Then we have added a listener. And the next thing is on click, we just pass the parameters from the map to our report. When the map is clicked, get the ID and pass it to the, we can store this ID in our page item, and that page item we can use in the where clause of report on the right side. The next thing is how to draw the polygon in Google Maps. We need to provide different coordinates where we can draw the polygon. Again, region, and then first we have created JSON type coordinates in a JavaScript variable. And of course, we have initialized our map inside that region. And then we are passing those coordinates and the map region to this google.maps.polygon function. It will draw the polygon for us on the map. Same concept goes with circle. Similarly, we will get the the points on the map, and we will pass these things to the function which is available by the Google API. Draw the map, define the locations, and call this function new.google.maps, new Google Maps circle, and pass our center point from where to start the drawing the circle and the radius. Okay, the next thing is cluster. The cluster concept, as I told you earlier, here first we need to init map. Similarly, then the labels which we have to show on the data points when zoomed in. Then we have to get we have to draw the markers. Sorry, we have to draw the markers on the map, and based on these markers, there is another function available, new marker cluster. We will pass our map region and all the markers which we have drawn earlier to this function, and we will give them an image, what type of image we need to show when the data points are clustered. So here is the the definition of our other locations. It's again in the JSON format. Okay, the next thing is locations. Directions. Here we currently are showing the directions from my current browser position to the any point which I will mention here in the field. So I'm giving a location as an address. It is giving me the directions from this point to that point. This one again, first we need to get our first of all we need to draw the map. After that we need to get first point inside the JavaScript function. Then we need to get the target point in the function, and then we have to call the function services direction from the Google. And inside that we will call the polylines function, and it will draw this the line or the path available in between those 2 points. Let me get through this as well quickly. First of all, we have got our location, and then we have got the location which we have mentioned there in the text field, and then we are getting our the region ID, and here we are calling this function. It will give us the directions, but those directions will be drawn by this polyline. Here we are passing our region, map region, and we are mentioning a color. What color should be shown on the route between those 2 points. So this is how we can use Google Maps in our Oracle Apex applications. We have we have gone through all of these things quickly. I hope you people have understood these things, but if you have any questions, of course, we are here to help you. And the summary.
Great.
And here are some of the references.
Thank you, Mudassir. Actually, I have an interesting question regarding Google Maps. I don't know if you have the answer or not for that. Like, can you use the Google Maps offline? And if yes, how you can update the latest data from or changes from Google? Do you think? I don't think I can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, no. So, sorry, what's your answer?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, the question says, can you use, I think it's related to Google Maps, and the question says, can you use it and work on it offline? So, and if yes, how you can sync the changes from Google server to Apex application?
Currently, I'm not sure if we can use the offline maps with our Oracle Apex applications, but I'll do some work on this, and if these things are possible, we will let you know.
Yeah, sure. Now, it depends also on the definition of offline. What do you mean by offline? For example, the native maps region that comes with Apex 21.1, yes, you don't need an internet connection. You need a connection only to the Apex server or to the database itself, because actually the points that you see are coming from a table in the database. So you can access it directly from that table, as long as you have the points and the spatial data available in a table. That's one thing. Another thing that I would like also to let you know about is when you work with the native maps in Apex 21.1, you don't actually need to use the spatial and the SDO geometry column. We advise you to use it because now it's free. There is no extra licensing for it. But even if you don't, even if you have a system that was built on top of, different columns, could be longitude, latitude, just values, or GeoJSON column, you still can extract the data from there and show it in the map region. So basically the map region, you can think of it as a different way of, or an advanced way of a chart engine. Cool. So I think we answered all the questions. I don't know if you have any other question, guys, but if you don't, then maybe we can conclude the session by saying this. Joel Coleman, before passing out and before losing him, he has given a promise to Oracle Apex Pakistan community to visit Pakistan after the pandemic. And I'm going to take that promise forward. So inshallah, when the pandemic is over and we can, go back to our normal lives and we can fly. So I'll visit Pakistan myself and we will have a session there, hopefully. So that's it from me. Thank you, Mudassir, for all of the time and the nice information. There is one final question, it seems. Oh, okay, it's not a question. Nice session, Mudassir and Salim. Thank you, Gul. So thanks a lot, and inshallah, see you soon in other sessions, for Apex in Pakistan. Thank you. Salam alaikum.
Thank you so much from my side as well, and thank you for providing me this opportunity to share my knowledge.